Hey, what's up guys? It's Slayer back here again with another video with the horrible lighting. I just want to start this video off by saying that by no means am I a professional on the subject of alcoholism. I'm not a licensed professional. I'm not a drug and alcohol counselor. I'm not an expert on any of that stuff. I am an expert on being an alcoholic though. I'm definitely an expert on that. And when I talk about this stuff, by no means am I a know-it-all guru wizard. I'm just not. I'm just talking from experience, just from personal experience from someone who I consider myself to be a very, very bad alcoholic. Yeah, it's not good. When me and alcohol meet, it's destruction. That's putting it lightly, to be honest with you guys. But I wanted to talk about a question that as alcoholics and as addicts in general, I guess, that we ask ourselves, and we've asked ourselves probably thousands of times, hundreds of times at the very least, and that question is, can I ever drink again? Can I ever have just one more drink? Or can I, just drink on my birthday maybe, or maybe just on Christmas I can drink? As a true alcoholic, a real alcoholic, can I ever drink again? No. The answer is no. So thanks for watching the video, guys. I appreciate it. No, I'll go more in depth into it than just that. But yeah, the short answer coming from me, again, someone who I consider myself a real alcoholic, the answer is absolutely not. Because 1 leads to 5, 5 leads to 10, 10 leads to 20. All the sayings. If 20 sounds good, well then 25 just sounds that much better. 1 is too many and 1,000 isn't enough, and that is 100% true. And I've tried to tell myself over the years, again, over 100 times at this point, that the old saying again, that this time it will be different. I'll be able to control my drinking. Because deep down inside, let's just be honest guys, a lot of us, the majority of us, we do want to be able to control our drinking. We just want to be normal, man. We just want to, we're alcoholics, so there's a part of us that absolutely love it. When you get deep inside of your addiction, you learn to start to hate it. But we love the feeling of alcohol, so of course, we don't want to get rid of that. Why would we want to get rid of something that brings us pleasure? We're pleasure fiends as human beings, a lot of us, especially as addicts. I know that for a fact. So, of course, we want to be able to drink again. But the honest truth is that if you're like me, I just can never have one and be done. It never works out that way. Never. Not once has it ever worked out that way. I'll drink one and then I'll sit there and I'll tell myself. I've done this 100 times, I've sat there and told myself, you know what, okay, I'm just going to get a 6-pack. I'll just have a 6-pack. I get a 6-pack, I end up drinking the entire 6-pack, and it defies my logic. I don't even understand exactly what happens. It's a chemical thing, going on in your brain that, it's like a light bulb switches on. And me personally, I become an entirely different person. It's like I'm in alcohol mode now. That's all that matters. Once I've had that first drink, from that point forward, all that matters is how can I continue to drink? How am I going to get my next drink? And that's, just for an example, again, let's say I get a 6-pack and I've told myself 100 times in my head that I'm really only going to drink the 6-pack. Well, I get the 6-pack, I drink the 6-pack, and immediately, I need to go and get more. I am getting the keys, and again, I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm driving intoxicated, which is extremely dangerous, putting my life in danger and others. It's just extremely selfish. And next thing you know, it's no longer beer. I can't tell you guys how many times that I've told myself over the years that, oh, I'll just be a beer drinker. I'm just gonna cut out the hard liquor and I'll just be a beer drinker. Well, that lasts for about an hour, and then I'm back at the liquor store and I'm buying a 750 milliliter bottle of, Southern Comfort 100 proof. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm buying 12 of the double shot. So that's 24 shots total of Southern Comfort 100 proof. And destruction is now underway. I'm going to start downing them as fast as I possibly can. It's absolute and utter insanity. I don't understand being an alcoholic myself. I don't even fully get what's inside of me, what compels me to drink alcohol to the point that I'm laying on my floor, because I pissed my bed, I'm laying on the floor, puke all over, and I'm drinking a bottle. That's all I care about. I'm drinking a bottle and I'm in absolute oblivion, completely gone. And the moments of consciousness, all that I'm worried about is trying to get the next bottle. And if, I have to go once I'm wrapped into it, if I have to go a long extended period of time without the booze, and then the withdrawals start to kick in, it's absolute hell. And when you've been drinking for years and then your booze starts to get cut off, because, for me, I was drinking for years, but then eventually my life just completely just started falling apart. I was losing my jobs, I was losing relationships, everything in my life just started falling apart. So I couldn't always readily available, just be able to get my booze. I had to be a scoundrel. I literally, had to do crazy stuff to be able to get my booze. But my point is that I would go long extended periods of time without it. Withdrawing, going through the withdrawal, pathetically sweating, just waiting to be able to go and get my next bottle. And I can't tell you guys how many times it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I was pacing inside of my kitchen back and forth, waiting for 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock for the liquor store to open back up just so I could get down there and get my bottle again. It was that pathetic. And a lot of the times it was, I just had enough for, maybe like 5 shots, and I'm pathetically pacing and throwing up, worried that I'm going to have a heart attack, seriously considering like calling the 911. But when you're really wrapped in it, it's like, I didn't even care about that. I didn't want to go to the hospital or get help or nothing like that. I just wanted to get my next bottle, man. I was worried about having, it was just horrific. And I would literally drive my car, it would get closer and closer to 6 o'clock. So like, let's say it's 5:30, it was 5:30 in the morning. I'd be on my way already to the liquor store, barely able to even drive if I was driving. A lot of the times I would be walking, and I would be, walking, shaking, all alone. Nobody knows that I'm out there. I'm just walking at 5 o'clock in the morning, a lot of the times thinking that I was going to drop dead before I even made it to the liquor store. But if I was driving, it was horrible. My anxiety would be through the roof. All I cared about was getting that next bottle. And I would pull up to the gas station, and I'd be sitting out there, and the gas station and all the liquor store people knew who I was. They knew that I'd be there in the morning waiting. It's like I'd be sitting there, and a lot of times they'd come out and have a cigarette, and they'd look over and they'd see me, and they'd just be like, man, this dude again. And a lot of them actually tried to tell me to get help, and I just, I never listened to them, obviously. But I'd be sitting out there at 5:45 in the morning waiting for the liquor store to open. And the second that it opened, I'm talking about 6:01 a.m., I'm in there and I'm buying the liquor. And by the time that I'm in the car, I'm cracking one open, drinking just to get well again. because the withdrawals, again, are just so bad. Again, this is why it goes back to, no, absolutely not. I can't ever drink ever again. It doesn't mean that I won't ever drink ever again, but my goal needs to be for the rest of my life to try and never touch it ever again, because it's the same for someone like me and a lot of you guys out there. And I've heard this analogy before. It's the same as like walking into traffic. Oncoming traffic. That's what it's like for us. Like, we're gambling with our lives. Every single time that I drink, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I say it's absolute chaos. That's an understatement, man. The horrific things that I've put my family through, the horrible things that, even though my ex has done what she's done, I put her through a lot of bullshit as well. I'm a very selfish, wild animal when I'm in that alcoholic, drinking. When I'm in active drinking, I'm a monster a lot of the times. And it's not because I want to be a monster. It's just that our addiction turns us into these like creatures, like Golem, from Lord of the Rings. It's not pretty, man. And I would lie, I would cheat, I would steal, I would go behind people's backs. I stole, from my family. That's extremely shameful to say. I even stole from my ex. I stole bottles of alcohol. I would go to parties and literally just take cases of beer. I would do anything to keep it going. Again, once I'm in it, I keep going until I'm either in a hospital, I'm in jail, or I just have completely ran out of money and I have to go through the withdrawals and white knuckle it or something like that. I mean, that's how it ends every single time. I don't even know how many relapses, I can't even tell you guys. I've landed myself in the hospital. It happens pretty much every single time now that I relapse. Every time that I relapse, I get closer to death's doorstep, and each relapse gets worse and worse and worse, and everybody agrees on that too. I cannot describe to you guys, my relapses just really they've gotten so bad. And I turn into, it's like it says in the AA Big Book, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's what I am. I'm not who you guys see on camera. I'm a monster, And so no, absolutely not. I can't ever drink again. It's not just about us either, Addiction affects everybody that's around you. Unless you're just completely alone and you don't have anybody around you at all. And even then, man, you have loved ones probably that are, thinking about you from a distance and that love you, that are worried about you. I mean, it affects people that we love. I think it affects them just as hard as it affects us, sometimes harder, man. The things that we put our loved ones through to say it's selfish is just an understatement. It really is. And again, we don't mean a lot of the times to do it, but it doesn't matter. We still did it. And so many of the things that I did in active addiction, like stealing, people's clothes, like taking, my friends' clothes and some of my ex's clothes and taking them to a store to sell to get $10. These people's clothes, man, to get $10 so I could just get my next fix, because all I cared about was me. All I cared about was drinking. That's all that matters. And no matter how many times that I've told myself that it's going to be different, it never is. It never is. And I've proven that time and time again. It's a death sentence. It's absolute poison. It's like banging your head against the wall over and over again, and you're expecting different results from it. And each time that you bang your head against the wall, you're getting more and more brain damage. You're getting closer and closer to death. And one of the times you end up dying. It's a trap. And it gets me every single time, man. And in my alcoholic brain, I try to convince myself of every single possible way or excuse on how I can get away with drinking. Like I said before, like, oh, well, I'll only drink on my birthday. Well, I drink on my birthday, and then the next morning, again, I'm back at the liquor store. I've gotten into a giant fight, probably broken something. I might be on my way to jail at that point. Who knows what's going on? I mean, it's just, again, absolute chaos. It never works out that way. Or I'll only drink with friends. I'll only drink with friends. How many times have I said that I'm only going to drink with friends? And again, before I even show up to the bar, I already stopped at the liquor store and bought shooters so I could have extra ones in my pocket. Even though I told myself 100 times that I'm not going to allow myself to do that, I do it anyways. It defies all logic. And yet again, I'll say, when I am wrapped up in my drinking, all that matters is my next drink. And it is so selfish. And we treat our loved ones awful. And what we put them through is horrible. And it haunts me, a lot of the stuff, man, that I've done. And I wish so desperately that I could take it back. I wish so desperately that I would have started to try and get sober sooner, because a lot of things could have been prevented. But at the same time, everything happens for a reason, I guess. And I'm here for a reason, talking to you guys, sharing my experiences. My alcoholism has been absolutely devastating, man. When I say that alcohol has ruined my life, that's an understatement. It's a thief. It steals absolutely everything from you. And it's done that to me. I mean, it's stolen my friends. It's stolen my money. It's stolen my ex. It's stolen my brother. It's stolen jobs, opportunities, pieces of myself that sometimes I feel like I'll never be able to get back. I've drank myself to the point that I feel like sometimes I'll never be able to be happy again, or I feel like I'll always be battling it. And I hope that that's not the case. And a lot of people say that it's not the case, but at the same time, I've also heard a lot of people say that it really is a forever battle, and that, 20 years later, they're still really struggling with not drinking. And I guess, again, that's the insanity of it, is that it just completely destroys our lives, but yet we keep running back to it because we're so addicted to that instant gratification, that feeling that it gives us, that numbness. Someone like me who carries so much anxiety with me, so much worry, so much stress, so much, trauma, all this stuff that I carry with me. It's just that perfect, quote unquote, perfect antidote, but it's not an antidote, it's a poison, and it does lead to our downfall. And it's like I said, man, it will, if it hasn't already, it will start to destroy your life. I've been in multiple car crashes, literally got in a car crash with one of my ex-girlfriends that could have killed both of us. If it wasn't for the fact that we had our seatbelts on, one of us might not be, I might not even be sitting here talking to you guys. And that was just one of the car crashes that I've been into. I've been in multiple car crashes because of my alcoholism. And again, I'm kind of making this video for myself, for me to try to convince myself that it's okay. Like, for me to think that there's any part inside of myself to think that it's all right for me to go and drink to go drink again after all that it's done, not only to myself, but to my family and to my friends. It's mind-blowing, and it's disturbing, and it's scary, man. I say it all the time. When I am sober, life is 100% better. It is. It's better, but it's a battle, and I do struggle on a day-to-day basis. but things do get brighter. The longer that you stay sober, the brighter things start to become. Things start to lighten up. Life, it doesn't seem as dull, and that hope starts to come. And so many times for myself, it's like I start to feel healthy again. I start to feel strong again. And then what do? Oh, well, I feel good again. I think I can have one drink. And then I drink, and then I'm literally right back. Not only am I right back at square one, I'm actually back, way further beyond square one. I've actually taken 3 steps back. And that's the thing about once you get far enough in your alcoholism, you just start to, your relapses are going to set you back months. I mean, literally months, man, months. I'm recovering. I'll be recovering for God only knows how long. They say that it can take up to a year just for your brain to heal. It's insane. I hate alcohol, but yet I love it. It's like Golem. Like I said from Lord of the Rings, it really is that type of relationship where it's like, the Smeagol inside of Golem, wants to do the right thing and hates the ring in a way, and hates the fact of what it does to him. But then the Golem side of him will take him to lengths of, he literally strangled his own brother. I mean, I'm not saying any of us are going to strangle somebody, but you know what I mean. I mean, it takes you to the depths of insanity and true despair. So no, if you're a true, real alcoholic, if you're watching this video, I would say that you are. I heard Bat Country say that, you don't watch this type of content unless you are an alcoholic or an addict. You have a problem if you're even watching this video. I've said it before too. If you're asking yourself, do I have a problem? You most likely have a problem. Yes. If you're drinking in the morning, you 100% have a problem. But it's not all doom and gloom, guys. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. Again, I'm no expert. I'm new in sobriety myself. And I am going to keep staying sober. I'm going to keep battling. I'm going to keep fighting the good fight. I'm going to keep making YouTube videos. And there is hope on the other side, and there's so many examples. I mean, you can look at the horrible examples like the Lane Staley's, from Alice in Chains. He died from heroin, and you can look at those types of examples, but you can also look at the Steve-O's and the, all the literally people that are in the comments, you guys, so many people that have overcame and beat this addiction and came out the other side, and they say how much more wonderful their life is. You're giving up, it really is that you're giving up one thing, which is that bottle. We are giving up that one thing for everything else in our life, because it does take everything away from you. So you really do have choice. We have free will in this life. Each and every single one of us have free will. And I'm never going to sit here and tell you guys you can't drink or don't drink, or no, you can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, you have free will to do it. But I think that we are here for a purpose. And if you are sitting there thinking to yourself, man, I have no purpose. I'm all alone. I have no friends. I'm lonely, and I'm just gonna drink because I have no purpose. I'm telling you right now, you actually do have a purpose. There's a reason that you're here, because you wouldn't be here if there wasn't. Every single one of us have a purpose, and it's beyond drinking booze. It's beyond putting ourselves in hospitals and in jails and morgues sometimes. And the pain and the suffering that we have to watch also are, brothers and sisters who are in recovery, what we have to watch them go through. I've just in my IOP group, I've seen so many people relapse. I've relapsed. It happens. It's going to happen. It's about how are you going to pick yourself up, and be very careful too about the whole entire phrase. Relapse is part of recovery. It is part of recovery, But the problem is that sometimes you relapse all the way until you relapse yourself into a morgue. So you can't just use that excuse, because you might just use that excuse until you're, 50 years old laying in a hospital bed with cirrhosis of the liver, and there's no longer any choice there. And I don't want any of us to be there, man. I want us to stay sober. This community is beautiful. You guys are beautiful. Please, if you have a problem with alcohol, try not to think about, oh, can I ever drink again? Just take it one day at a time. In the back of your mind, don't let yourself fantasize about it, because that's what I always, that's always a beginning. That's a beginning of a relapse for me, is that I start to fantasize, all the glory days of the alcohol, as I would call it. The early days where everything was perfect with it and it was doing everything that I wanted it to do. And I start to fantasize in my brain about it. And slowly, over about a week's time, I eventually end up relapsing again. And don't allow your mind to do that. We have to set boundaries up in our minds. I do, especially. I've said before, I do not care what any of your guys' religious preference is. But for me, God has been very important for my sobriety. Whenever I'm close to God and I'm following what I feel like, to me, God wants me to do, it always helps me stay sober. There's so many different hobbies out there, man. I longboard. You can go out in nature. Nature's beautiful, man. If you don't think life is beautiful, just go outside, man. Go find somewhere in your local town and just go admire something. A lot of the times we think like, oh man, I gotta go up to, Switzerland, or I gotta go to New Zealand or something to be able to, or Hawaii, to be able to see these beautiful things, when in reality, like, most of us, right outside our back door, there's beautiful things that we've never even seen in our own state. It's mind-blowing if you look into it. This state right here being one of the most beautiful ones, man. It's absolutely beautiful here in Colorado. It's beautiful in Colorado. It's beautiful everywhere, man. You can find beauty anywhere. So, yeah, man. Ultimately, this turned it into a rant video, but that's how all my videos are, man. I always end up ranting in every single one of my videos. But there is hope. And yeah, man, don't listen to the voices telling you to drink. Do not drink. Do not give in, man. Take it one day at a time. Remember, you are worth it. Remember, there are recovery meetings. There's literally hotlines that you can call. There's YouTube channels like mine and so many other people's that you can get on and, be part of this community. There's so many ways that you can reach out. So please reach out. You're not alone. Go to an AA meeting. I'm not a hater, or I have nothing against AA. I think AA is a beautiful thing, and it's saved people's lives. So give it a shot. If you haven't, maybe it will save your life. Who knows? Do whatever it takes, because at the end of the day, you are worth it. I am worth it. I love you guys. I love this channel. I appreciate everybody who went and watched the interview or the video that I did with LD. That was awesome. Shout out to him, man. I love him, man. Consider him a real friend. I really do. I made a real friend with him, is what I'm saying, man. I'm sorry, it's late at night. I'm working, I'm tired, but I wanted to make this video for you guys. The next video that's coming is going to probably be coming this week, actually, and it's going to be a sit-down talk with my actual blood brother. Man, I don't just have the one brother who ran off. I also have two other brothers, and I'm gonna be sitting down and talking to him because he is also an addict, and he has struggled with methamphetamine. And he's also had his own battle with alcoholism, and I think that you guys are going to absolutely love us sitting down together and talking. He's looking forward to it. He's doing amazing in his recovery, so you guys will really enjoy listening to his story. And yeah, man, I know that I missed a lot in this video, just as far as how evil alcohol really makes me. It does. It's. I really do think it's the worst. It's the worst. It's one of the worst things on earth. It turns us into some of the worst people on earth. And I could go on for days and days and tell you guys about all the crazy crap that I did. But that's for another video. So ultimately, if you're a real alcoholic like I am, the goal is, no, we can't ever drink again. And hey, guess what? We're better off for it. So I love you guys. I'll be back real soon. Until next time, guys, stay safe and stay sober. Peace.